Hi guys. I said we were going to summarize the chapters today. Getting to it a little bit late. Had to change some things around. I'll go over what we're going to be doing today and tomorrow. Slightly different. We'll summarize these chapters first. So where we left off was actually Sunday, November 5th, and just to give a look at the course to see where we're at. Let me share my screen real quick, and there we go. Ooh, it's not working. There it goes. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen, and I'm going to the course, and this is how you guys should see it. So I've opened up the days. We've got Monday today, and there's stuff inside there if you go in there. Then there's tomorrow, Wednesday, and I put Mondays after spring break available. I made that available too. If we look at Monday, what we did today, we've got the reading. This is chapter 7 and chapter 7, November 7th and November 8th. And we've got the audiobook for both chapters. We've got the week 3 check-in post. That's just for your checking in and saying, hey, Mr. P, I'm alive for this week, and I'm doing great with all your work. Then we had the live class, and I'll be putting this recording up in place of that because not many people joined the live class. So if I jump to the next day, which is Tuesday, by using this arrow here, or I could go all the way back out by clicking up here. I'm going to just jump to the next day, tomorrow. So tomorrow we've got an announcement, and it says, for Tuesday and Wednesday, I want all of you to catch up on any work you have missed. To keep in sync with the NTI day schedule, because I have to send all that in way ahead of time, and if I change a day, it's going to totally ripple effect throughout all my days, and I'll have to change it. So to keep that in sync, what I'd like you to do is read the first 2 chapters of part 3 between Wednesday and Monday. So between now, for that matter, between now and Monday. So you have all the way till next Monday to worry about those 2 really short chapters. I'm adding a discussion as an assignment, and that's it for this week. That's all we have to do is that assignment, and you're going to be good for this week. So the check-in and then the discussion board assignment. You'll have both tomorrow and Wednesday to work on it, and I will have the live class at 1:30. Maybe we'll talk about the novel a little bit, maybe the plans, maybe I'll come up with something new to do during that live session, but we'll have the live session. Here's the week 3 check-in post. If you have not already posted it, you can do it Tuesday. You can do it up till 1 o'clock on Wednesday. I'm shutting it down at 1 o'clock because I have to report those numbers to Mr. Morgan. There's the discussion. This is going to be for Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you look at Wednesday's information, it's going to look just like this. So for the discussion, I actually had it right to the front here. You could click on it to go into it. We'll do that. It asks you guys to, well, what I want you guys to do is write about your favorite part of the book so far. Explain why you like it and which characters you like the best. Extra points if you guys respond to one another. So if I like someone's post, I can reply to it and say, you know, I thought Paul was not going to do really good in the game at all, but then I was surprised. You can reply back and forth to each other. This is worth 20 points, and we will be starting to load stuff in the grade book. We're just waiting for the green light from the administration. So that's all we have for both today and Tuesday and Wednesday. So that was a quick look at the course. I'll go all the way back to the beginning, scroll all the way down, and there's the days you can see you got. Today, you got tomorrow, Wednesday, then you're on spring break, and you just have to read 2 short chapters between Wednesday and Monday. You can do it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, and let's get into the book. All right, so we left off. It's Sunday, November 5th. So Mr. Donnelly had contacted Paul's dad, and it's kind of funny because his mom is freaking out about the lightning rods that he put up on his house a couple of chapters ago. He's not responding to that. He's taken notice of Eric and how well Eric's been doing on the football team at Lake Windsor Down. So Mr. Donnelly invites the Fishers over for dinner and to meet some prominent football people, which could be good because Eric's trying to get into college and all that. So they end up going over to Mr. Donnelly's, but the mosquitoes were really, really bad. Remember, they flooded the areas of the muck fires with water in an attempt to put the muck fire out. Well, it didn't put the muck fire out, and it ended up creating a lot of mosquitoes. So they end up meeting Larry and Frank. They're people that have some say in the football world, and they basically end up talking with Paul and Eric, and Arthur's there. Arthur waits in the car, and then Mr. Donnelly talks to Paul, which is surprising to the family because he started talking about Betty Bright's team and how she was an Olympic star and all this stuff and how they're undefeated and that there were girls on the team. We talked quite a lot about that, and we learned that Betty made it all the way to the Olympics in her career. That's the coach, and she was punched by, I believe, a German player, and they didn't call it or anything, and it's what caused her to not do well in the race. Paul's parents and Eric were shocked that Mr. Donnelly was taking such interest in Paul and talked to him so much about Betty and his coach and the girls on the team and all that. And sounded like towards the end of the chapter, Eric was probably up to something again, or Arthur was. Then Paul goes into another flashback. And the flashback, it's again related to his eyes. And so that's another indicator. Something's probably going to come up in, well, I guess part 3 now with that. But pay close attention to those parts of the novel. I'm kind of really interested to find out what really happens or what happened with his eyesight. And it seems like each chapter we read, he's remembering a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And it's usually when he's it usually involves Eric as well. So we'll see where that goes. Then Tuesday, November 7th is the last home game for Tangerine. And Paul ends up playing left wing and scores. But the storm delays the game. In fact, the storm gets the game canceled. And so now it comes right down to the Lake Windsor Down team facing the Tangerine Middle School, the War Eagles. And that leads us to Wednesday, November 8th. And let's see here. Wait. Did I get ahead of myself? All right, yes. Tangerine will play Lake Windsor Down. And that's going to be the most significant game of the year. It's a home game for Lake Windsor Down. And all of Paul and his friends have to travel by bus to get there. They're kind of really in awe over the neighborhood and how nice it is going from Tangerine Middle School to Lake Windsor Down. The kids are like, wow, the streets are paved with gold and everyone's houses are so nice. These people are so rich and all that. And Paul's like, I never really even noticed that. But Paul lives there. So he had to go from Lake Windsor Down to Tangerine, back to Lake Windsor Down. So that takes us to Friday, November 10th. And that's game day. So we get the story of what happened last year when Lake Windsor Down played Tangerine. They lost. And it sounds like there was some bad calls and they weren't very happy about it. There's some little bit of talk about Eric and at the end of, well, my page is 188, but I've got the book. So in the digital, it'll be a little bit different. But it says that they were sincerely amazed at this stretch of road, the stretch of road that I took for granted. It was like a movie set anyway, painted on plywood and propped up by two by fours. As phony as an Eric Fisher football hero smiles. So he's kind of saying, yeah, a lot of this stuff looks really good, but it's all fake and show, kind of like Eric's football thing. And I thought that was kind of a strange part of the book. So we'll see what happens with that. So game day, they get there and there are lots of people on the home side, and there are several cars that follow in from Tangerine with the parents, and they get ready to go, and they do their war cry, their chant. Who are we, the War Eagles? Who are we, the War Eagles? And then they get going, and right off the bat, Victor gets into a fight, and Paul's put in for Victor, and they score a point, I believe, and it's a tough game. Then as the chapter goes on, let's see, lots of passing. It's an action chapter, so there's a lot going on with it. Paul's in for Victor. Then I believe it is Chandra I think Chandra gets taken out, and they end up putting in. I gotta find that part. Usually I mark all the parts, but was it after Paul got hit in the face? No, it's not. So, anyways, Paul ends up being the goalie. That's the point. And so he starts in one position, and another player gets pulled out, and they have to pull the goalie out. I believe it's Chandra. I could be mistaken on that. Yeah, it's Chandra, because she got sick during the game. So they had Paul cover goalie, and they brought in Caesar, the small guy, the small kid, to cover Paul, the position he was covering. And so Paul is in his moment. He gets to actually play the goalie, what he's wanted to do the whole book. And so he gives it his best shot, and he does really good. He has a lot of shots taken at him. He takes a ball in the face and gets a bloody nose and continues to play. And he does a really good job defending the goal. And as the chapter goes on, it gets really intense, and then Victor comes back into the game from being in penalty or whatever, and they start doing better, and it goes head to head, and it comes down to Paul and Gino. Gino, if you remember, was on the Lake Windsor Down team, and he called Paul Mars and all that. And they're kind of like friends, but he's like, well, I'm gonna go for the goalie. I think it was a penalty kick in this chapter, and Paul knew Gino was gonna try to kick it high and to the left, and so Paul goes as soon as he starts to kick the penalty kick. Paul jumps up to the left as fast as he can, and Gino tries to fake him out, and he goes to the right. Well, it didn't work. Paul thought he scored, but Gino actually missed the goal altogether. And because of that, it was their one shot. Time was up. The game was over. Tangerine wins the game and the championship. So that's a big deal. Paul's really happy. And Gino comes up to him afterwards and says, yeah, you were totally in my head. I couldn't focus. I couldn't get it, together. And they missed it. And it's because they were 9-0-1 versus, I think it was 9-0-0. And so was Lake Windsor Down. No, they were 9-0-1. So anything that kind of messed up would cost them the game. And that cost them the game. So, let's see here. I have a note. They win. And so everyone's really supporting Paul, and Paul insists on driving back to Tangerine on the bus and being with his friends and everything instead of just going home from the game because he lives there. He didn't think that was right, and his mom understood. And that brings us to the end of part 2. So we've got part 3 to look forward to. That's why I wanted to kind of put things on hold, and kind of process everything that we've read so far, and give you guys a chance to get any work made up. Give me a chance over the next 2 days to harass and call students, as many as I can get a hold of, and say, look, you got to get in there and finish stuff up. I think most people are doing really good, but a few people need some motivation. If you have friends, you text or Instagram or tweet or whatever it is you all do, make sure you get the word out there, that make sure people know, do the work, and especially do the check-ins. I'm trying to limit my check-ins to the discussion boards, email, and remind. But if I have to, then I'll make phone calls. I will be on live at 1:30 tomorrow. I'm not for sure for how long. I encourage you to join the live session. You don't have to put the video on. You don't have to put the audio on, but it's nice to have people in there. And it's shaping kind of how I'm going to proceed with class. Honestly, if the majority of my students would join live every day, we could probably just have one quick live session and get the majority of the stuff you guys have to do right out of the way. And then I can catch up with those that need extra help. So that's where we're at. And I'm going to post this and put it up there for Tuesday's summary, and I guess it's Mondays. So it's going to cover everything up to part 2. And you guys, I want you to post in that discussion board and the check-in, and that's all you have to do this week is the discussion board post assignment, telling me what you guys like the best about the novel and why, what characters, and then the check-in, which is just, hi, I'm Mr. Parmentier, I'm doing great, and I'll be responding to you guys in the discussion board posts. And if you need help or have questions, remember to post that in the help forum. I'm trying to keep these forums kind of cleaned up. So if you notice some of them disappearing, it's me deleting them. Maybe I'll move them up to the help forum if that's where they need to be. But do not check in, for instance, in the assignment, discussion for the novel. It's not bad, but I would just rather you guys do the check-in one. So, all right. Well, that sums up the novel. If you have any questions, email, message, post it in the help. And that concludes this video.